And we're back with Delaware businessman Bill Stevenson, who, yes, as we mentioned in the previous block, was married to the current First Lady, Jill Biden, back in the 1970s. Now, they got divorced, and you know what led up to the divorce, but it was actually somewhat amicable. But then things got very hot for Bill Stevenson in Delaware, hot in a bad way. Now, Bill, if you don't mind, let me take us through this. The Stone Balloon is the place that you ran, an amazing kind of legendary pub in Wilmington. All kinds of great music acts showed up there, Bruce Springsteen and others. Now, at one point, you got in trouble in 1982. But when people see this, let's go through the some court papers here. On April 21st, 1982, defendants were arraigned in this court for failing to make payments to the account for the first quarter of 1982. You're the defendant along with your brother. The first quarter of 1982, failing to make payment. How much money was not paid? $8,266. Now, this is federal court, and you were charged with a felony. And this is in April of 1982 for the first quarter. Just to review, January, February, and March, 3 months make a quarter. And you were charged in April. Bill Stevenson, I've never heard of something happening quite so fast. It seems like maybe they were out to get you.
You think?
What do you think? Yeah.
Listen, this was devastating, and I'll tell you how it happened. We went to court because Jill turned down $1 million settlement from me. She was about 22, going on 23. We were only married 4 years at that point. We're in this vicious divorce trial. I turn around, try to make it as easy as possible for her. I give her her Corvette. I provide a townhouse for her. I did everything I could to make sure that she was happy because I still cared about her. And to this day, I still care about her, to be perfectly honest, and everybody around me knows that. My problem is with Joe Biden. What he did was, right before the divorce trial, he switches law firms to his old law firm, a gentleman named Melvin Monson. For 3 days, they bashed me. They bashed me in front of the IRS. They bashed me in front of the Department of Justice. And I said, what in the world and why is this happening? The bottom line is I won everything. I had given her quite a bit, and they ruled that her education at that point, which was her master's degree going on to the doctorate degree, that she had enough. She actually owed me a little bit of money at the end of the court thing, which was bizarre. My lawyer stood up and said, no, we don't want it. Here's what happened. They appealed. I owned a couple houses with her. But the problem was I owned our big house and my home at the beach in my company's name. So they sued me for one of the houses. It took 6 years to resolve that. And this is when my problem started. In 1982, they lost the house, and Jill had to come to the lawyer's office and sign off the deed of a house in downtown Newark. It wasn't even our beautiful home at Oakcastle or my home at the beach that I owned corporately with friends. It was a house that was worth $35,000, $40,000, and now it's worth a fortune. But here is where the problem was. Frankie Biden of the Biden crime family comes up to me and he goes, give her the house or you're going to have serious problems. I looked at Frankie and I said, what, are you threatening me? And needless to say, about 2 months later, my brother and I were indicted for that tax charge for $8,200.
Ooh, Jill Biden, Dr. Jill Biden is a naughty, naughty girl. Jill Biden was married to this man, Bill Stevenson, before she was married to Joe Biden. And apparently she cheated on this man, Bill Stevenson, who's a bar owner in Delaware. Hardworking dude, owned a bar. Cheated on him with Joe. They were going through a divorce. Jill did not get everything she wanted out of that divorce. She wanted one of the homes. They were going through a normal divorce like millions of Americans do, but it wasn't going the way Jill wanted. So she went to Joe and said, I'm having problems with this guy. Joe goes to the Department of Justice in Delaware, sicks the DOJ on this guy. This guy is indicted for not paying $8,000 in taxes, and he was only late by a couple of weeks. Does this sound familiar? Now, this is really ironic today because Hunter Biden, Joe's son, is now indicted for not paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and he's going to get a slap on the wrist and probably never spend a minute in jail or prison. These are the type of people we're talking about. The left wants to say that Jill Biden is this upstanding, classy first lady, while Melania Trump was this trashy first lady, and it's just the exact opposite. Jill Biden's ex-husband, who claims she cheated on him with Joe, slams the Biden crime family for targeting him and Trump, despite Hunter's tax crimes and brands president dangerous. He went on to say that Frankie Biden of the Biden crime family comes up to me and goes, "Hey, give her the house or you're going to have serious problems." Bill Stevenson said Frank Biden is Joe Biden's brother. Stevenson goes on and says, "I looked at Frankie and said, 'Are you threatening me?' And needless to say, about 2 months later, my brother and I were indicted for the tax charge for $8,200. $8,200. Nobody is indicted for not paying $8,200 in taxes. You rarely see that. And supposedly, according to Bill Stevenson, it would happen really fast, right? He was threatened by Frank Biden a couple weeks go by, and he was indicted. The government never moves that fast. Here's a picture of Jill and this guy, Bill Stevenson, here with the camera when they were married. Take a look at this clip where Bill Stevenson explains catching Jill Biden cheating on him with the now president of the United States.
I consider Joe a friend, and the problem is everybody who meets Jill, from, when I met her in 1969 to right up till today, falls in love with her immediately. It's hard not to.
Right.
And that's why I don't want to hurt her. But I also want the facts out. And I want to make sure that people know the story, so going forward, they're not so ready to jump in and, slow something down that I'm doing.
So, when did you first know that they were having an affair?
Officially, I can almost pick the date because it involved Bruce Springsteen coming to the Stone Balloon.
Right.
I had to go pay Bruce Springsteen in advance in the beginning of August 1974 for him to show up at the Stone Balloon the following week.
Right.
I asked her to go with me, and it shocked me when she said she had things to do. And I guess
Where'd
that's...
you have to go, New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, North Jersey.
North Jersey, right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I can say about all that. But
And you knew then that the things you do were...
I was told shortly after that.
Yeah.
I was told by one of her best friends. That's what's even funnier yet. So the facts were pretty much the facts.
And so you were the one, it's right that you were the one that filed for divorce?
I'm actually not even sure. I asked her to leave the house.
Right.
And
That's in the
she moved, the
yeah.
following year, yeah. I waited a while. I thought maybe we'd get over. Her father was begging me when he found out what was going on. Her father begged me to give her a second chance. Her father was an amazing man, and it gets me a little emotional when I think of that I lost her family. She does say something nice about that in her book. She said, it's a fact that my parents loved me, Bill.
That's never good. Seems like a nice guy. You never know what was going on. But Joe Biden seems like a homewrecker, and I don't really care if Joe Biden wants to run around and sleep with whoever he wants to sleep with. I don't care if Jill Biden is a cheater, a thought, a hoe. I don't really care. But what is so ironic about this story is that this man was charged by the IRS for an $8,200 late payment, and now Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, is going to get a slap on the wrist for not paying his taxes. Joe Biden used the Department of Justice in this situation, and now he's using the Department of Justice to take down Donald Trump and his chief political opponent. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Until next time, peace.